On the last episode of In Dad's Garage, I showcased my garden bar, also known as Oscar's Bar after the family dog, which I built by my very own hands in lockdown 2020. I then decided it would be a good idea to make it bigger. So we started the day off by emptying the hot tub. We then ripped off some cladding before getting chased by a wasp. And disturbing a huge spider. Then we chopped up some perfectly good decking boards, then ripped off some perfectly good plasterboard walls, to finally reveal the inner bar shell. Now the real work can start. So we're back, it's day 2 on Project Bar Extension. There's a few things I want to get done today, main of which is getting this wall taken out and extended back. But before I do that, there's a few proprietary things I need to do. So I need to put the flooring in today. So my plan for that is to cut the boards to go lengthways across here. However, what I have noticed is when I've done the frame originally, it runs beyond that post and beyond there, flush with there. So the wall itself is going to go to there, which is going to leave a bit of a gap here. And obviously that's going to be no good for water flowing down if I put the floorboards all the way to the end there. So the first job today is to put some, I'm going to reuse those decking boards over there, I think. Chop some decking boards, bring that out about 100 mil, so then I can bring the floor flush to there, and then when the wall goes down it'll line up just to there, and again flush at the end, and then that'll just keep the floorboards off that bit of wood there, and that will hopefully allow me to line the wall up flush with there, and then with here, in theory. So first job today is to cut the packers, decking packers, whatever you want to call them, for there, and then bolt them or screw them to here to bring that out, so we can then put the floorboards down. It'll make sense in a bit. Right, let's crack on with that. Right, it's time to screw these in here now. What I am going to do is just drill a few pilot holes through first, because this is quite dry now. It's dried out since it was first installed, and I want to snap the wood or split the wood, sending those nails all the way through there. So I'll drill a couple of pilot holes and then we'll screw these to here, and that should give us a nice extended flush lip there to mount this floorboard. Okay, I'll crack on with this. Sorted. So that now gives us a little bit of a lip there to rest the floorboard when it comes to here, so it's in line with both of these walls and that post, and then it gives us an extra bit of support to screw down the wall, that wall at the bottom when we move that out here. What I'm going to do next is this space here is a little bit too spacey, if that's a word for my liking. So I'm going to put a noggin between here just to add a little bit extra support, so when the floor goes down there isn't too big of an area that could be a potential weak point for someone very heavy to go through the floor. I don't think there will be, because there's probably going to be a fridge here or something, but just for good measure I'm going to put a noggin here, and then that just nicely bridges that gap by about 400 each side. So we'll do that next with a bit of treated timber. Right, I think I'm about ready to put the floor down now, but let's just quickly assess the situation. So, I think I'm going to run the boards, they're 800 wide. So I think I'm going to run them 800, so from there to there, which is 64, and then from there to there, which is about 58, there to there, which is another 64, and then the final stretch from there to there, which is about 66. What I'm going to do as I work my way along is where I think there needs to be an extra noggin just for a bit of stability, I'll add that in as we go. What I am going to do is just for this end bit here, add a couple of decking boards just as a little bit of a lip, so when we slide the floorboard under there, it's got something to rest on. So we'll work it as we go, because this wasn't put down for flooring, this was put down originally for the decking board, so it's going to need a little bit of finessing, but we'll do that as we go. It shouldn't take too long. I'm going to do them lengthways this way rather than long ways, just to give it a little bit more support with the way the frame's set. So let's crack on and do that now. Right guys, I've messed up already. So in my head, these boards were 800 wide, but they're not. They're 600, or just shy 600. So that completely and utterly screws up my measurements for these noggins, which I anticipated being around or up to 800 wide, give or take. So all of these are about 64 or up to 70 wide, so that's not going to work with these boards. So change of plan, I'm going to run them long ways and adapt them to fit between this noggin here, that noggin, and then when we get to this bit we're just going to have to do a little bit of wizardry trickery. That's the technical joinery term, but we'll make it work anyway, so we'll crack on and do that. Just want to share with you that I've messed up already, but that's what this channel's all about. Share the mistakes, learn as we go. Right, let's crack on. Nice. Nice. Right, so that's the main boards down now. We've got 3 lengths. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to piece these ones in section by section so I can get the angle cut across and I'm not dealing with too long an angle cut. So I'll do that really quickly. I'll cut to a time lapse and I'll show you when it's all finished.
Wish you could slide into my mind and make me mine. Push play rewind. It's sweet outside and so am I. You wanna slide like that.
Right, so we've got all of the floor cut into place, into shape. Bit of a jigsaw on certain parts. We've made the most of it. It's mainly around the very corners of the room where there isn't any going to be, and well, where there isn't going to be any footfall or load base. So I have added an extra couple of noggins just on the end here where some of the boards are going to meet, and another one here because this bit here will effectively be the centre of the room once it's extended. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to screw these boards down. But before I do that, there is a membrane down underneath, but that's more of a weed membrane. So what I'm going to do is I've got some of this roofing underlay. So I'm going to roll a length of this down underneath each of these boards, and then I'll wrap it around the edges. That'll just stop any water damage to the underneath of these floorboards over time. It shouldn't really get any water because it is raised a good 6 to 8 inches off the ground, and it does have that damp course membrane underneath, but just for extra measure, I'll put some of this down as well. So I'll cut to a time lapse, put this down, and we'll get them floorboards drilled in. And once they're in, we can think about moving this wall. Right, let's crack on. And it's red hot today. Whew!
Turn my head with a side flip. I know you like it. Baby, go and earn it. But stay frustrated. Let me draw your map so you know where you're at. Yeah, like to attract. I know where you're at.
Et voila, floor in. Right, let's screw this bad boy down. Just like that, job done. Right, so the flooring's down now. That means we're ready to think about taking this wall out, moving it back. Before I do that, I need to consider disconnecting these electrics. Now obviously when it comes to electrics, you don't mess around with electrics. So my mate Dave is going to come now very quickly off camera and disconnect this fuse box and these wires, the ring for the circuits and the ring for the lights. He's going to disconnect them very legitimately, because he's a qualified electrician, my mate Dave. And then once he's done that, I'll bring you back and then we'll have a look and we'll see if we can get the screws out for this wall. Oh, hang on, that's Dave now. I'm coming, Dave. Two seconds. Back in a minute, guys.
A few moments later.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Dave. Cheers, Dave. Right, Dave's just been and he's safely disconnected the electrics. We've thanked him for that. The next thing I need to do before I can take the screws out for this wall is take this pane of glass out of here, because there are a couple of screws that fix the frame to this corner piece. So I'm going to take the glass out, hopefully carefully without breaking it with this trim tool. Take that out and then we can assess where the screws are, and then hopefully with about 12 screws removed, this whole wall should come out and we can move it straight back. So let's give this a go. Need to be mega careful not to catch the glass, otherwise it'll just explode, and then that'll screw those plans. Empty. And this isn't actually a trim removal tool or a bead removal tool, it's a weeder thing that you use for in the cobblestones of your drive and stuff like that. So it's not ideal, but we'll make the best with what we've got. Right. What's that? I want a hook for that or something. Right, I've just got a couple of little pick tools here to see if I can hook the corner of that other one down, because I'm worried about popping the glass trying to get a screwdriver in there, so we'll try this little bad boy first. Yeah! That's the ticket! Oh yes! Easy when you know how. Unfortunately, I don't know how. Right. So, I should really be wearing gloves for this, but I ain't got any. So, if you're taking glass out, wear gloves, because they're like razor blades on the edge. But I haven't got any to hand. I'm just going to do this very gently. There we go, guys. I'm going to put this. I'm going to put it against this wall because it's windy outside. I don't want that wind blowing over this pane of glass. That'd be a pain in the ass. Right, so that's the window out. Let's have a look at these screws. Just like that, out. So we've got one screw up there that's in really tight. It's maxing out the impact drive, so I might have to get a ratchet on that. I can't get it out, hopefully I can. I'm going to concentrate on these other screws and just see how loose this comes. Hopefully it'll come fairly loose like this window piece here. Let's give these screws a go. So that bad boy is what's there, which is why that wasn't coming out a second ago, but I reckon we can work on that. It's like a 15 centimetre long screw, that bad boy. Whew. Right, that one snapped, great. Right guys, that screw down here that I couldn't get out, I've just multi-tooled around it to give a little bit of a gap to slide the screw out, and what I'll do is I'll just put another bit of 2x3 or 3x2 across the top of that to give it some more support when I'm mounting it the other side. So hopefully, get this last bit out, that screw will be relieved. That's what she said. Whew. Right, top half's loose. See if we can get the bottom half off now. The building wrap is obviously attached to this. I must have done it and wrapped it around, so if I cut this down here it should come free. Right, try that. Right, let's see if we can get this wall moved. Wish me luck. Easy. Wow, look at all this space. So much room for activities. Woo! Right, I'll leave that there for a minute, reassess the situation, and I'll go and tell my wife to come and have a look, because she's ultimately the forum, and she tells me whether it's a yay or a nay. Right, great news, the boss is happy, we've got sign off to continue, and if I'm lucky, I might even be allowed back in the house tonight. Oh, that'd be nice. Right, let's measure up this window frame. Drill gun. Right guys, so the challenge we've got here is this post isn't square to that wall at the back, it's angled more to be flush with this. As I said earlier, the bar is kind of like angled in this way and angled in that way to meet the boundaries of the garden. So it comes in that way and out that way, kicks out that way. So what I'm going to have to do to get this square and to get this corner to corner is down here. I'm going to have to, just to give me a little bit extra room, just multi-tool out just a little bit of an angle, a bit of a notch there, so I can butt this stud work up flush to this one on an angle and give me just an extra 10, 20 mil or so to get that window frame in and then get it all squared and level. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll see if we can get that offered up level. We'll see what it's looking like. Give that a go, guys, see how it fits. Oh yes. Right, so I've just taken this little bit of trim board off that post, and that's just given me just the clearance I need to get the window frame in with enough room to position it. So I'll take you around, I'll show you what it's looking like. Tidy dog. There we go. So it's almost like for like. The boards don't quite go fully up to the end there, and turns out that back wall isn't quite plumb, it's leaning out ever so slightly, which is why that's not flush with there. But what I'll do is I'll obviously bridge that, and then I'll put a proper trim piece across there to meet up against that boards, that facey boards, and I can put the rest of the cladding across there. So that's one window position there. I'm going to put this other side window here on there again, so it gives a nice corner, so when you stood at this side of the garden you can see through the corner of the bar, so it doesn't completely isolate it. So I think I'm going to have a little bit of a clean up, get things organised, because there's tools everywhere and I keep losing things on and where I put them down, so I'm going to have a little bit of a tidy up, reassess the situation, and then I think the next job will be to get that fixed in place permanently, and then after that we can then take this window out. Right, let's crack on. Whew. And it's still 24 degrees, which for England is hot. Whew. Okay, now I need some way of fixing this to this. So I've got this bit of timber that was on that joint over there. See if I can fit this one here somewhere and get it screwed in place. Right, I reckon I'll screw that in there like that. That'll give me something to fix the side of this to. I can put some angle screws in that back corner, and then that gives me something flush for the plasterboard to line up against when I plasterboard this wall. So I'm going to do that next. Keep putting my tools down and forget where I'm putting them. That time of the day now, I think I need to just pack up and have a beer. We will persist on though. Right. That wall's secure that side now. Secure at the bottom. Just need to get a couple of fixings up here at the top and screw it to the ceiling. And then that's job done for this wall. Nice! Oh yes guys, that'll do for me. Nice. Whew. One window frame and one wall in. Whew. Right guys, oh, I think I'm going to call it a day there. It's taken most of the day to get this wall out and get that other side back in. I've made a hell of a lot of mess, so I'm going to clean up, tidy up, get things organised, and in the next video we'll do the stud work and move this window across, so then we've finally got the shape of what's going to be the final bar extension. So if you like this video and you want to see more, and you want to see how I'm getting on the next video, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!